Oh, we got an email. What we got here? This MODOK trailer is really good. All right, hold on a second. Give me another CGC email. CGC email. That's. What's up, you guys? It is not all bad news. It is going to be okay. I cheered myself up. It's going to be okay. I watched that MODOK trailer just a couple more times, and now I'm feeling much better about the world, and I don't want to murder anything. Moving on, I just want to make a quick little video for everyone that's seen today, and has already talked about it, that's already had all the information digested from it. CGC has raised their prices, and I am not surprised at all. Talking about this a couple days ago with a buddy of mine saying, I wonder when CGC is either going to shut things down a little bit, which may still happen further on that later, and or increase their prices just a little bit. Not as bad as PSA did, thank the Lord, but still an increase across the board on almost everything. So today's video is a few talking points that I want to get across so people are aware of about what's happening with CGC. So let's get to it. Like it says right here, CGC has increased their service, membership, shipping, pressing, fast track, every single fee you can think of has had an increase. Just getting right into it, I want to say this is going to be an interesting concept to see how it's received by the community, because it has taken everyone by storm today, and it's the number one thing to be talking about, and it's nuts. So, what has happened is that effective as of April 28th, so next new comic book day, the prices that you see on CGC's website are going to be effective. Now, you may be asking yourself, what if I already have a membership with them? Great news, it is going to be okay, because you still get to use whatever discount you already have. Most important thing to take away from this is that, in essence, you have a week to sign up for either the $150 membership, which gets you $150 in credit and 10% off, and or sign up for the $300 one, get $150 in credit for that one, and then 15% off your books for the year. Now, it is an undertaking, it is a lot of upfront cost, but that $150 credit does help minimize that cost up front. And especially the savings that if you do want to get at least 25, if not 25 or more books this year graded, is definitely worth it because of that extra 15% off that I will be using a lot this year. I also think that they're going to see a huge increase in books being delivered, which is going to be fascinating for turnaround times, and membership purchases to help incur that discount that they'll get. So for me, I renewed back in January for my 15% off grading tier membership. I get till next January to get 15% off all the grading tiers. It works on almost everything except for it doesn't work on shipping, it doesn't work on signature series, but it works on like the fast tracking and the grading of the book. It helps beneficial with that. Because as you can see here, it has changed drastically. It's gone, so the $25, the $149, the $299. But as you can tell here, they're adding this 10% off the CGC store, which I do believe that means they're going to have more supplies available, which if the prices on those supplies are decently priced, and the 10% off might be beneficial. For example, they have some of those card savers at a really good price, and I can get more of those at an even better price now. But the most important thing that people are always after is that discount on their grading tiers, which has now been eliminated only if you purchase the $299 option, which now only gets you 10% off instead of 15%, which is a huge deal. They also made this really great spreadsheet here that gives you a breakdown of the price increase of absolutely everything. So we have the modern tier being $22, the fast tracking now going up to 15%. It's going to be fascinating because it seems like a little, but over time it will add up quite a bit. They've also gotten rid of one of their tiers of grading. Now they just have the modern and the economy, which they've both bumped up from $200 to $400 max value. Standard's gone up $10, Express has gone up $20, Reholder high value went up, even the walkthrough went up a little bit. Magazines went up across the board. It's just it's not a huge, but it is an increase of everything across the board. But it's something I want to let people know that this was probably bound to happen. they're a business, they're a middleman, they're aware of what comic books they're going for nowadays and what the quantity of books they have been receiving. If you haven't been paying attention, the turnaround times at CGC have progressively gotten worse as the weeks have gone on, and or the ability to receive books in a faster amount of time has also increased as well, which is delaying books even further. CGC did respond. They did hire a bunch of new employees. They bought a brand new building space, so they are trying to mitigate that, but they also felt in order to cover the cost of what they have done, they needed to increase the prices of their system itself to help supplement those costs, which, gets passed down to the customers. But this is not just for comics. It is for posters. It's for magazines. It is for sports cards. Everything has gone up a little bit. And the one that, if you're not aware of the channel that I use most often, is the pre-screen feature, which is still able to be used. Like, they didn't take away any pre-screens, which was awesome. Kind of worried about that for a second, but no, they're not taking any of that away. They decided to then increase the reject fee from 5 to 8, which for me, that is a big deal. Actually, that's a huge deal because you don't get any discounts on those grading fees. And here's where it's gonna be really big at these conventions. The cost of the signature books have gone up across the board as well. Pretty much anything grading tier wise went up, like especially the magazine size books. It is pretty intense. It has some shock value to it where you're just like, you're taken aback. You're like, what's gonna happen now? It's ridiculous. But I wanted to get the most important thing that I want to discuss about this topic today is that the CCS fees have also increased as well. And this is a very important part of the market. A lot of people use CCS for their pressing services, and that will probably change. Maybe not. They have increased their pressing fee and they've gotten rid of their screening feature. And the fast track now of those pressing fees is also $5 more. So $15 for the pressing, then another $15 if you want to fast track. So it adds up a lot, especially if you want to throw in fast tracking with pressing. And I want to say this will lead to almost a better, well-rounded comic collector due to the fact that with the reject fees of pre-screens going up and the pressing fees going up along with the fast track fees, you're really going to want to take the matter into your own hands and really make sure you're getting a book that you want graded. So I almost think this will make for a more savvy collector and or someone who gets their books graded, because they're not going to want to spend all this extra money on books that aren't going to justify these costs. And the screening concept that they've taken away for modern tier, magazine and comic, a screening is when you submit the book to CGC for pressing, and they will actually pre-examine the book to help you determine if would be a good candidate for pressing. They have taken that way altogether, which means I probably can't quantify the quantity of books they've probably gotten in for a screening, because it is sometimes very difficult for people to judge what their books will come back as after a press. So getting rid of that tier, that option altogether, will force people to evaluate the books much closer. And also, I wanted to pull up the FAQs. They're really good, actually. It is kind of helpful to have some things broken down immediately. That we know that April 28th is the deadline. So in essence, if you want to keep a good discount on the books you get graded, sign up for either the $150 or the $300 tier now if you want to save some cost going forward, if you plan on keeping your books graded with CGC. And remember that once you do sign up, your discount is applied for the entire year of it. And then once it expires, it reverts to the new discounts on there. So in essence, for me, like I said earlier, I get 15% off the grading tiers. That will be in effect until next January, since I already have it. Also, to maintain any books for the old pricing, they need the forms to be filled out by April 28th, and then they need to be received no later than May 28th in order to make sure those books are graded in the old pricing. So you bet yourself I'm going to go through all my books today and tomorrow and figure out, do I need to say anything to CGC immediately? This also points out the value tier is also gone. The option for quick pressing, which I really didn't believe in anyway, is gone as well, completely eliminated due to, they say, enhanced optimized results for their normal pressing services. Concept of crossover grading is long gone now. It is just going to be the full price to crossover grade. No discount on that anymore. It's just noting about the screening of books again. Not going to have the option to allow you to submit books for a screening to see if it's worth it to get pressed for any modern tier comic or magazine. This is a great one that I've used a lot in the recent past, where the CGC fees signature series have changed, but these do not affect the CGC in-house signings, which is a nice little bonus. And like I mentioned earlier, that discount's going to apply for the entire year that you have the membership. So if you want to do it now. And those are just a few things that I wanted to pinpoint about the new membership tiers, service and fees, the increases for the shipping, the grading, the pressing, all the services going up a little bit. And this is what I think is going to have an impact going forward for the comic market. I don't think it's going to impact much, in all honesty. I personally, I don't believe so. It's fascinating to think the quantity of books that are now being submitted that is harder to handle. Some people are saying new collectors, some people are saying sports cards collectors, some people are saying other market collectors. I mean, I'm sure it's not just the sports card people. Like, I've been to sports card shows here near my town. Not many of them talk about comics. It's fairly a smaller, minute group of them, but they are becoming more aware of it. But there's not a massive influx of like sports card people just like, oh, let's just submit some random books to CGC. I honestly, within my group of friends, have never had so many of them submit so many more books to CGC or any grading company within the last year. Now, do I take some blame for that? Totally. I totally told them to do it. But there has been a massive increase of people getting books graded in the community itself. Myself, I have already tripled the quantity of books I've gotten graded since last November, than I did the entire previous year. But here are my few takeaways from this. One, if this helps lower the turnaround times and increase the quality control, I'm all aboard. That sounds great. Please bring back those regular turnaround times. It would bring me great joy. Two, I hope there isn't a stoppage. If you're unaware, PSA did have a stoppage for 3 months where they're not accepting any submissions except for like a $300 tier and like a $600 tier for cards that cost thousands of dollars. So as long as CGC is not planning on having a stoppage or a halt, that would be phenomenal. I also am a little worried on the quantity of books they may be receiving within the next month. Because in essence, they put a deadline on when you could submit books for the old pricing, and there is a significant enough price difference, especially if you have a 15% off discount, where you're going to I need to send as many books as I can in to make sure I get the old pricing. So I hope they're ready to handle a massive influx of books that they may be getting. And last note I want to point out is, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I was really excited to make this. If you're not aware, I get a lot of books graded by CGC, and I will continue to get a lot of books graded by CGC. This will not alter those plans. If you do enjoy this video and want more things like this, please comment down below. Let me know that you enjoyed it and found some more useful information from it. Hulk smash that like button, subscribe to my channel for more informative videos. Now, last point I want to make is, how will this affect you personally? Will it affect you at all? A little bit? A lot? You're like, what's grading? Then it's not going to affect you at all. But it might. You never know. I want to know what you think about this. It is a huge whirlwind of comments and positive, negative light about this. Maybe people that are unaware of other companies doing things like this. And one last little note. How is CBCS and the other grading companies are going to be affected by this? Do you believe they will see a huge increase of books? And if they do, will they be able to handle it? And that's what I'll leave it on. Let me know down below in the comments. I look forward to this conversation. And like always, Skeff, out.